Alright guys, welcome back. We're doing how to prepare for your solo trip part 2. This one is focusing on while you're actually out and about on holidays, you're having a great time. What are some things you can do to help take care of yourself while you're solo traveling? So the first one is, and I cannot stress this enough, you need to have common sense and you need to make your decisions with a common sense outlook with regards to your safety, because you're responsible for your safety, and using sort of just basic common sense and real world tips is going to help you take care of yourself while you're traveling. I'm in a lot of traveling Facebook groups, and there's a lot of times I'll see posts like, oh, my Airbnb host, I'm traveling solo and he just sent me a dick pic, is this okay? Or my couch surfing person is sending me, suggestive messages or whatever, is this okay? Like, no, common sense dictates that is not okay, and you do not have to stand for it. You need to remove yourself from that situation ASAP, alright? So use these common sense tactics. You don't need to clarify that. You know what's right and what's wrong. Follow your instincts and follow your common sense toolkit that's in all of our heads. Listen to that and just make all your decisions with that in mind. And if you have trouble with this, if you're a type of person who might make excuses for people or things like that, just always think of it as, what would I say if my friend came to me and asked this? Like, oh, my Airbnb host sent me a dick pic. What would I say to her? Because you might find that you give more honest advice to your friends than what you do in your own head. So maybe try that. Okay, the next one, don't be afraid to say no. Okay, sometimes I think as women especially, we are sort of hardwired to be more people-pleasing and team-orientated and go with the flow. So one thing you have to remember, when you're out solo traveling, you're going to need to say no. Whether it's somebody coming up to you in the street, trying to sell you something, or trying to get you on their tour, or whatever it is, somebody harassing you, you need to be able to look someone in the eyes and firmly say no. If you have trouble with this, wear sunglasses. It's the easiest trick, because then you avoid that whole eye contact thing. But you need to be able to say it and say it firmly so it's understood. So just don't be afraid. You need to be standing up for yourself. A lot of times women will go with the flow of things and say things like, oh, I didn't want them to think I was rude. Yeah, you have to let that go when you're solo traveling. If people think you're rude, whatever, that's their problem. But you need to be able to make your own decisions and be able to firmly say no when you need to. Okay, the next one, remove yourself of any situations that seem like they are gonna turn bad. Okay, I'll give you one good example. In Malta, I was taking night photos one night, and I was near a pool, a couple of guys came down to the pool, clearly drunk, flashed my camera, in the middle of me taking photos and stuff, and I said, nope, and I packed up my stuff and walked away. It's that easy. You need to remove yourself before things get bad. Don't stick around and wait to see what happens, because generally in those type of situations, nothing good is gonna happen, right? So remove yourself before they get bad. And the same thing goes for if you're walking down the street and there's maybe a group of drunk guys walking towards you and you're the only one walking this way, move to the other side of the street. Do whatever you can to not be in situations where they have that potential and you're waiting to see what happens. You don't need to find out. Sure, it's not fair. I know people say oh, but you shouldn't have to do that. If you're taking night photos, you should be able to. Yeah, in a perfect world I should, but we don't live in a perfect world. And you need to be able to focus on the real world and what's actually around you, and be able to do that risk management in your head and just go, you know what? I don't need to see how this ends. I'm gonna take care of myself. Okay, next one, avoid alcohol. Now, I think have a drink, have some fun, but you need to remember that you're by yourself, so nobody's looking out for you. And the only people that are probably looking out for you may not have your best intentions in mind if you're drinking heavily. So just avoid that. You can always drink when you get back home. There's nothing more special about drinking on holiday than there is at home. It's the same situation. Clubs are the same everywhere. It's the same type of people trying to do the same type of things. Have a little drink to just have a bit of fun, but don't be writing yourself off drunk, because you're just adding risk to an already risky situation of you traveling alone, and you know, it just makes you more of an easy target. It's not worth it, you know, it's just not worth it. Now remember in the first video we mentioned having the communication line set with a friend, a family member back home. Remember to actually use it. Remember to be checking in with your friend at whatever time you said you would, and letting them know, you know, a rough idea of where you're going. I usually just give like a roundabouts idea because I might change my mind throughout the day. So at least I'll say, oh, I'm sort of heading in this direction or doing these things today. Yeah, make sure you're checking in and using that line of communication. That's important. I think you should invest in your travel overall, but accommodation is really important. So having a good hotel in a good location with a reception desk that's staffed 24/7, it just adds up on the safe side, right? So it doesn't have to be a hotel. You could choose something else, but I personally like hotels. Just definitely invest. Don't be sleeping in your car. You're asking for trouble. You know, don't be in shady areas to save a bit of money. Again, asking for trouble. Just try and invest in your safety to help you take care of yourself while you're traveling. The last one, number one piece of advice is trust your instinct. It's the most powerful and wise voice you have. It knows so much more than you and whatever's in your brain. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right. So trust that voice and go with whatever it says. Instincts are always right, you just have to listen to them. So make sure you do. Alright guys, that's my video on part 2. Next video, we're talking about how to talk to your parents about solo travel and taking your first trip. So that can always be difficult. Go through some strategies for that. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and share it around with your other friends who are going on solo trips.